And I remember laying in bed in ICU and looking up at the ceiling, and just like that, I wasn't there anymore. I was in a field, and the field was beautiful. It was beyond beautiful. I remember walking down a path, and when I walked down the path, there were flowers on each side. There were just massive amounts of flowers everywhere, colors I hadn't seen. You can't describe it. You just cannot describe. I'm sure you've heard this over and over again with people who've had near-death experiences, but it's so true. And I remember leaning over, and I smelled this bearded iris, and it smelled just like lemonade. I remember it was like a light purple color. But anyway, there was a low stone wall off in the distance, and I was walking towards it. I know the light that I saw was very, very bright. It wasn't like the sun. It was just a glorious light. Well, I started walking towards all that, and there was a like an opening in the stone wall. And about that time, this golden carriage comes around the corner, and the door opened, and I just got in. I mean, I was a little confused at first, because I was like, where am I? And then I realized, I think I died. I really did. I thought that. And there was no one driving the coach either. There were other people in there, and we were all just kind of looking at each other confused, and the next thing we know, they took us to this huge, huge mansion. And we went into a room. It was completely round. The walls on it were painted a robin's egg blue with gold candles and gold candlesticks on the walls. There were 2 arched doors, and they looked like wooden doors, but they were really, really tall. There was lots of people in this room, young, old, different races, etc. Well, I felt someone that was behind me, and I turned around, and there was my grandmother and great-grandmother. They looked to be about 17 to 20 years old. Now, how did I know it was them? I just did. For one thing, I grew up in the same house with them, so I knew them very well. But how could I possibly have known what my great-grandmother had looked like at that age, because she was born in 1878? But I still knew it was her. They wouldn't let me touch them. And they spoke with me, but everything was like telepathy. And they said, no, you can't touch us, you can't hug us. And they said, you're not ready yet. You're not ready. And about that time, the doors opened up, and these beings came through there. And I knew they were angels. They didn't look male or female, but they kind of gave off a male presence. They were dressed in white robes. They didn't have halos or wings or anything like that. And I know I'm backtracking a little bit, but I didn't go through a tunnel of light. I didn't see rainbow bridges. I didn't see God, anything like that. But I knew that I was going to enter heaven, even though my grandmother, great-grandmother said, no, it's not your time. Well, these beings started taking people in groups through these doors. Now, I could see through the doors, and it was absolutely magnificent. It was gold everywhere. Everything was gold. And except for the sidewalks, they looked like they were almost made of diamonds. And there was a creek, a crystal clear creek running in the middle. And it was just, you just cannot put it into words how magnificent, how beautiful, how wonderful all of it was. Well, I went up to the doors, and they said, no, it's not your time. You have to go back. I said, I don't want to go back. I want to go through. And I tried to bolt through the doors, and they wouldn't let me. They stopped me. Somehow, I don't know how. They didn't grab me or anything, but they just stopped me. And then the next thing I knew, once again, I just like that, I wasn't there. I was staring back up the ceiling in ICU. And when I looked over, there was a nurse that was preparing to take me to the morgue. I didn't know at the time what she was doing, but she said, "Oh my gosh," she said, "You're alive." And I was like, "Am I?" I mean, I was still a little confused. And so she called everybody in there because I had no blood pressure, no respirations, and no brainwave activity. They checked it.